Greetings all, Ferrari-Man 601 here. Welcome back to Assetto Corsa, welcome to Imola, where else, and welcome to the RSS GTM Lux V8. This is a brand new GT3 class release from our friends at Racing Studio. I have to say off the top, this particular class of car is not really my cup of tea because all of you well know that I love myself some high-powered open wheelers. However, being one of the latest and greatest from one of the latest and greatest mod producers still running for Assetto Corsa, Racing Studio, we of course do have to keep ourselves abreast of the state of the art and at least have a decent familiarity with what is currently on offer here. So that's what we're doing today. I have not yet turned a wheel in this car. I have driven a lot of GT3 class cars, obviously, and I know generally what to expect, but never this one in particular, which means that it's a little bit of a learning experience for us both. Just trying to give us a little bit of a first look here and determine what's what, how does it work, and really, should you buy it, should you not? I'm going to say, well, yeah, you probably should because, well, it's Racing Studio. You're not going to go wrong with them. But what sort of driving experience could you reasonably expect to get here? The GTM series, the modern GT series from Racing Studio, we have got a number of offerings in this particular category from Racing Studio. You've got everything from their equivalents of the Lamborghini Huracan. You've got the, what is not really the BMW M6, but it's really the BMW M6. You have got a number of other things. You've got the Mercedes, not the SLS, but the thing that succeeded the SLS. The SLS is like 10 years old by now. Holy crap. But it goes to show you that I'm not really a GT3 fan. But, yeah, definitely going to be taking a look at what's going on in here. In the cockpit, what do we got? Yeah, basically everything that you would expect to see. And a lot more. Racing Studio pride themselves on absolutely nauseating levels of detail inside and out, and we're definitely seeing that in here so far. Yeah, nice carbon texturing in that removable roof panel, and of course everywhere else. Door panels, steering wheel, dash, the center stack here for all of your ancillary controls, everything there. That's cool. Yeah, very nice. Dashboard is alive, obviously, with our lap time ticking away. We are going to have the Race Logic Delta display, I believe. And obviously our position indicator. Very cool. Very cool indeed. Other things have we got here? Let's go through some settings on my wheel. Yeah, nice. Okay. We're going to have ourselves some things to take a look at in here, I do believe. And of course on the outside we have got this wonderful livery. Very cool. However, let's take a look in the setup screen, see what we've got. Looks like we just have two preset gear ratio stacks here, topping out at 278 clicks on the standard and 298 clicks on the long. We're going to stick with the standard here. Tires, one compound, the dry hards, 20 psi all around default adjustment. Ranges between 16 and 24 psi on the front, and I suspect it's going to be the same on the rear. 16 and 24. Alright, so between 16 and 24 all around on the tires. Fuel, we've zeroed that out to keep the engine quiet. Maximum fuel capacity appears to be 120 liters. Very nice. Electronics, traction control, and ABS. You'd expect that on a modern GT3. Aero, rear wing. Obviously, you can adjust that between 0 and 16 steps. You do not appear to have a visual angle of attack adjustment there. Obviously, the effects are going to be duly modeled in sim, I do believe. Brakes, brake bias and brake power. Default values here. Keep that at 100. And differential adjustments here under the drivetrain screen. Keep this default for now. I tend to open up the diff quite a lot. Suspension, camber, and toe in all four corners. Main suspension screen, ride height, travel ranges, wheel rates, and anti-roll bars. Dampers, fast and slow bound and rebound on all four corners. Bump stops here. Your ultimate travel ranges, and then how hard that bottom out is going to be. And then the steer assist. Alright, nothing different there on the pit stop strategy. That's cool. Very cool. Alright. So, let us bring everything back to strict default. 50 liters of fuel on board. And now in the cockpit with the engine up. Got our tachometer showing there. It's cool. Bring our pedals up so you can see what my inputs are. And I suppose, all right, try to get throttle response, and we'll get going. A little bit of a trot out of the pit lane and see what she's got. Already, I like the gearbox sounds that I'm getting. Limiter is off. All right. Definitely going to be a very throaty sound out of this V8 engine. According to Content Manager, we have got 460 odd horsepower. Yeah. Sound-wise, in terms of what the engine is doing, it reminds me a lot of the Mercer V8 that was released also somewhat recently by Racing Studio. See what we've got going up the hill here. Could be an absolutely mountain of torque, and it is. That's full revs. Yeah! We have torque, ladies and gentlemen. And what appears to be a healthy amount of top-end power as well. Tires are cold. I do not use the tire blankets, so your results may vary with that. Getting the brakes up, getting the tires up. Very cool. Acceleration is about what you would expect. Of course, once we start to build tire temperature, be able to talk about the chassis dynamics, but the XL is very nice. The gear changes are effectively seamless. There's 6th gear. Let's see. Jump on the brakes. Very nice. I love the autumn colors here at Imola. All right. Starting to get a little bit more confidence on the front axle. A little bit of understeer still that may work itself out yet. And a little bit of oversteer there in the transition out of the second Acqua Minerale, but traction control actually stamping that out nicely. Down into the Rivazza complex to end the lap. A little bit of front left locking on my part. Little bit of power oversteer again on the exit. Again, traction control allowing a little bit of slip, as it well should. And that is a 147.39. Tires should be pretty much where we want them now. Definitely feeling more confident, like we can attack a little bit more now. See what we can do. I like it, I like it. Okay, a little bit of power oversteer again. Just enough slip to let you know that you're slipping, but not enough to really get you into trouble. Understeer there through Piratella, and a little bit of oversteer on the slippery curb. Moving around 1 and 2. Very cool. All right. Tires are definitely there, brakes are there. Having to balance the power application a little bit with the loud pedal. Very nice, 145.76. Braking a little bit later here into Navarello. Gave away almost all the time though, mid-corner. Giving it away again a little bit. Definitely liking the sounds. Again, not entirely my cup of tea in terms of personal preference. I like engines that are a little bit more rev happy, to the tune of about 10,000 RPMs worth more rev happy, but knowing what it is and knowing that we've got ourselves a big torquey V8, big bore engine, I think it's 4 and something liters, so yeah. It definitely sounds the part, definitely feels the part. The gearbox, it's almost a non-event anymore in basically any kind of car. You just flick the pedal one way and it goes up, you flick the pedal the other way and it goes down, you don't think about it. But it's implemented very nicely with the auto cut and the auto flip. Got that well out of shape with the exit of the second Nervato there. Again, just trying to figure out where the limit is. Brakes, you do have ABS. You can still lock them though, so be careful. But braking is very smooth and very deliberate, no surprises there. Personally, in terms of my sight lines in here, I would like to have my head tilted a little bit more downward and my seat slightly higher, but it's workable here at default. Of course, you can adjust all of that if you wish, as I well might. There's a lot of understeer. Very cool, very cool. All right, let's try to be smooth and consistent and see what kind of speed we could actually get. Try to give it a fair shake here. Brakes. Apex, apex, exit, apex, exit. Fifth gear. Brakes, downshift. Apex, downshift. Apex. Exit, real wide. Gave it away. Try to claw a little bit of it back. Try and keep the nose down with Miratella. Yeah. Gain some back. Definitely biased to understeer at medium and low speed. Kind of to be expected with an engine in the front, car being as heavy as this. Personally, the exact opposite of what I would do. Because I would take the roof off, put the engine in the back, and get rid of these things called fenders. But, you know, not what it's supposed to be. Yeah, it gave away all of the time in the Villeneuve chicane and Variante Alta. So it's the medium and low speed stuff where the balance is really shifting to be very biased to understeer, and it's not what I want. So if I really focus on not trying to overwhelm the front axle, yeah, look at that. We could just make the time melt away. Just remember the tire triangle. They can make you go, they can make you stop, and they can make you turn. And they can do all three things to varying degrees simultaneously, but only so far. Be cognizant of that. And now you can start to gain time where you once lost it. And there you go, there's a third of a second right there. Cool. For a lap time of 1:45. 0.28. Cool. So, because of the car being the size and weight that it is, with the configuration that it is, with the front engine, obviously there is going to be a little bit of an aspect of hurry up and wait, especially if you are used to driving cars that are fundamentally different from this in terms of their configuration, aero load, and things like that. But that is in keeping with what GT3 is these days. They're big, they're heavy, they have air conditioning. So, you know, it is the nature of the beast. For it being the beast that it is, 100% convincing. Not seeing anything glaring out at me to say, hey, that doesn't seem quite right. The biggest thing that this car is making me focus on is really those sounds, and I have not heard them from outside yet either, but from in here, not only do I have that wonderful engine noise, but I've got the gear whine. When we came out of the pits, we had a little bit of chatter from the clutch. I can hear the brakes, and then who knows what we can hear outside. I'm assuming just a thunderclap every time this thing upshifts. .144 .97. So, very, very nice. I think we will cool the car down a little bit. Listen to some of the drivetrain noises a bit, bring it back into the pits. Those lower speed downshifts are really cool as well. And listen to these. Haha, I like that. And I like the gear whine as well, and the engine at higher revs really drowns this out. But you can really hear that quite nicely. Back into the pits with us. Very nice. Very, very nice. There we go. Engine stop, no CSP badging required. There it is, the RSS GTM Lux V8. Well, if you like modern GT3 class racing, that's exactly what you're going to get here with the latest installment of Race Sim Studios GTM Pack. If you're like me, where you appreciate these kinds of cars for what they are, but they're not your first pick in terms of what you want to drive, well, honestly, if you get it or if you don't, that's going to be entirely up to you and what your needs and what your desires are for your Assetto Corsa install. From where I'm sitting, there's no reason why it shouldn't be part of your Assetto Corsa lineup because, well, it does exactly what it says it does, at least as far as we've been able to see in this, my first ever run with the car. I could drive it reasonably well, apparently, on default setup. I could definitely go faster without having to talk to you and being able to tweak the setup, of course. But it's stable. The electronics do a really good job of keeping that really immense amount of engine torque in check. You get a little bit of slip, particularly as the tires are warming up, but again, to be expected. Once everything does come up to temperature, the car really does feel like it is stuck to the road, but it never feels like it's a slot car. It's not like a modern open wheeler with lots of downforce. It's always a little bit lively. You can see how it's bouncing around off of the apex curves, particularly here in Sector 1, and that does very much let you know that you're dealing with a very sophisticated physics rendering here on this car, which of course not surprising from Race Sim Studio, but absolutely great to see nonetheless. Additionally, though, just visually, when you get in close to all this stuff, take a look at the reflections in the brake rotor there. Yeah, that is a real-time rendered reflection that is showing you, yeah, the red pit wall here at Imola. So that's really, really cool. You see, as close as you get, you don't really see much distortion in anything. You can even see texturing here in the probably aluminum wheel. Really cool. Really, really cool. Of course, none of this is a surprise from Race Sim Studio. I see embossed lettering there on the tires. Cool. And the exhaust, which apparently will vibrate at speed. I don't know if they glow. I haven't taken a close look at the car externally yet. But yeah, you really do have a lot of cool features on this thing, inside and out. Again, as you would expect. These vents here, probably for additional exhaust cooling, because again, it's a front-engine car. Going inside. Yeah. So you could definitely see that, once again, Race Sim Studio, they do not skimp on detail inside or out. Ignition box with actual Bosch branding on it. That's cool. I wonder if that's a sponsorship collaboration with Race Sim Studio. That's cool. But yeah, it's probably for the light boxes. Luminate. That's cool. That's really cool. Again, there are a lot of things here that you can take a look at, and perhaps we've got to take a closer look at all of this stuff in showroom view in due course. But from what I can see here, inside, outside, there's a GoPro. Well, don't say GoPro. RSS cam. Yeah, 4K at 60. Yeah. It's so cool. Again, little details like that that you won't notice as you're driving the car, but when you take a look at it from the outside, from 30,000 feet, you see all of it, and it comes together, and it shows you that you're working with something that's really well made. And again, hats off to Race Sim Studio for the wonderful products that they make inside and out all the time. GT3, open wheel, and everything in between. It's always great. However, we do still have to hear what this car sounds like from outside, because I haven't done that yet either. So we're going to do a couple of hot laps from onboard, as well as external replay cameras here from Imola to close this out. You can hear what those sounds sound like alongside me, because again, I have not heard it yet either. So stay tuned for the hot laps, everyone. Ferrari Bound 601 saying thank you very much for watching, and of course, we will see you soon.